Hello, Christina. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How about
Good.
yourself?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So, first of all, I want to thank you for coming back into our session. I know that it's been about a month since we had our first session, our intake session, and you had an assessment to do, and you stated a lot of things that brought you into counseling. I do want to briefly go over before we start the consent form that we already signed, but I do want to just go over it a little bit so that way we have a continued understanding of what the session will be about, okay? So, as stated previously, I'm a graduate student working towards the completion of my master's degree. This is a mock counseling session, and so any recordings or notes that are taken or anything that is said during this time, during this video, will be destroyed after my class and my professor watches it and we evaluate it. Anything that is disclosed in this conversation that we have is not at all factual. And so with confidentiality, regardless, anything that is said here will only stay between myself, my classmates, and my professor. Anyone outside of that, no information will be disclosed. All right?
Okay.
Awesome. All right. And to kind of backtrack a little bit on the assessment that we had about a month ago, it was a good intake, a good assessment, and what you have written down here for your top 3 stressors were work, family, and the commute to work that contributes to your anxiety and your frustrations. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what today? Which one of those 3 do you want to kind of get into today? What's bothering you the most?
If possible, I'd like to maybe go more with family today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, what about your family is just causing you all this anxiety or frustration?
I would probably say more lately, they've been calling me a lot more, even when I'm busy at work. It's just a lot of phone calls, a lot of voicemails just asking me what I'm doing. Once I do return the calls back, it's a lot of irate, responses. It's, just just little small things that are just not really necessary. That kind of frustrates me whenever I do make the call to them.
Okay. All right. So these small things that are causing the frustration. So what exactly is it about these small things or the phone calls that causes you so much frustration?
It's just the way they kind of going about everything. I have to work. I do need to make money for myself or whatnot. But I guess in a sense, I guess, kind of feel that I have to stop everything that I have to do to kind of focus on what they need right then and there. And that's kind of what bothered me because I can't keep stopping. I'm at work and whatnot, so it's just the impatience kind of gets me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, is there anyone more specific in the family who has been displaying this impatience or?
I would say it's about numerous amount of people. More so, I would say it's our brother that calls me the most.
Okay.
And then of course I do have cousins that I used to be close with. That kind of call me, not to ask me necessarily how I'm doing, but just cut to the chase and just ask me, for what they need. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so you say your brother is the one that typically calls you the most, and that's caused most of your frustration.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your brother. Like, how does he make you feel, or what's the relationship there?
I would say it's very uneasy. He's he had quite a bit of trouble, working wise, going from job to job or whatever. It's pretty hard, because he gets frustrated. He wants to leave rather than just stay working out the job. So of course, with him going from job to job, it kind of hurts him money wise. So he thinks that he can kind of rely on me. My parents, they cut him off. They don't really can't really help them that much because of their situation. But I guess he thinks that I make the money and I'm always at work. That equals money for him.
Right.
And that's when I get the constant phone calls, and if you don't get his way, then it's just it. He makes it seem like it's my fault. So yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned uneasy. So what exactly makes it uneasy to deal with him? I know you mentioned the work and he typically leaves the job, or he tends to kind of rely on you because you do have a more stable position job wise. So what exactly makes it uneasy between you and him?
I would just say just him just wanting something all the time in a way. There's I feel like no genuineness anymore in our relationship. It's just just get rich schemes, and I don't want to do them. So whenever he calls and he does a plan, he thinks that I'm going to go all forward with him. That's not the case. And of course, he keeps calling and calling until I just start getting upset, and then we just go back and forth. And that's what kind of creates that madness between us.
Okay. Wow, that can be a lot of stress and a lot of frustration. I know you mentioned not being genuine, and pertaining to the jobs being like pyramid schemes or get rich quick schemes, things like that. But I want to know, like, what else is there that's not genuine about him? Is it maybe personality? Is it just what exactly is the relationship that's not genuine?
I would say overall, just it's just he's always with a motive. It's always a motive. You think that he's being there, whatever, but it's always something. It never fails. With him just kind of doing that and making it worse. So.
All right, that's definitely a lot, especially if there's someone so close to you, and as you say, there's always some kind of a motive to either be in contact with you or something like that, or whatever he does. So I can understand that. Anyone else in the family that may be causing the frustration, anxiety, or any other type of ill feelings that you have?
I would say my cousins. I have a couple of them that we were close, but then I had to kind of draw myself away from that because ever since I did receive this promotion or whatnot, of course, they thought since I have enough funds to support myself, we all have funds. And it kind of, the phone calls once again, them saying, just kind of very, just kind of like just jabbing me for no reason, going below the belt situations. Yeah.
Okay. So with your cousins, what do they do, or what typically happens before the phone calls, or what typically happens in the conversation with them that creates the jabs, or that creates the negativity, or low blow comments?
So they kind of come in with good intent in a way. Then all of a sudden, it's kind of like that pity party in a way, where it is like, well, I have this going on and this going on. It's just like everybody else have things going on too. Then of course, that's when the name calling goes, and they say things which are ridiculous in my thinking, but it's just it's just ridiculous.
All right. So when they start the name calling and the ridicule, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel that makes me feel like I don't want to deal with them anymore. You know, if you're gonna be doing that, why are you calling me repetitively and calling me with this? You know, you just want me to get upset and you want me to give in to you.
Right.
So it's just you know, and then sometimes I just hold the phone while they just throw out all the names that they say or whatnot. So.
Okay. So let me ask you this. If you know that these same cousins, you know, call and throw low blows and name call and things like that, why do you still pick up the phone? Is there a reason you still pick up the phone knowing that the conversation is going to go how it usually goes?
I would think hopefully that it would change, you know. Um, Hopefully it will be something that would kind of go on their head a little bit and say, hey, you know, she don't necessarily have it, you know, like just leave it alone. But of course, you know, it gets worse. So yeah.
So really, you know, when it comes to your cousins, you're just kind of holding on to some kind of hope that it'll get better.
Yeah.
Okay. And what if it doesn't get better?
Then I would just have to just kind of find a way to kind of draw myself again, you know.
Okay. So withdraw yourself. Are you mentally ready to just kind of cut them off or not talk to them, not communicate with them? Are you prepared for that?
I think I am. Um, Hopefully I am, but I think overall I feel like I would want to. But I want to have the necessary steps to where when I do, like, it ceases. Like, you know, I don't go back to or revert back to what I've done previously before.
Okay. And what exactly did you do previously before? Was it the continuing of answering the phone calls,
Yes.
things like that? Okay. All right. All right. So, is it safe to say that family tends to be like the number one cause of anxiety in your life?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah.
Yeah. And so, what typically happens when you start getting those anxious feelings?
It's just I feel overwhelmed
Mm-hmm.
because it's just like I'm working, yeah. I just want to unwind, relax when I get home or at work. I just want to just have like a full day of just being peaceful in what I'm doing. But when they call, it's just kind of like the nervousness of what they want, what, like, you know, how long do I have to be on the phone with them, to argue with them, just to let them know that, like, no, I can't, like, I have nothing for you, you know.
Okay. All right. And then also that I saw in your assessment from last time, the behavioral symptoms like appetite change that happens when you get stressed or anxious. And then also you listed headaches and rapid heart beating, and you tend to get nauseous as well. So do you still have those feelings when it comes to your family with the constant phone calls and the name calling and then the situation with your brother? Do you still have those symptoms?
So I have more of like the nervousness. The nausea kind of went away. It's coming every now and then, but I would say more of like the nervousness. I have more than any of the symptoms that I've had previously. Yeah.
Okay. So with the nervousness, does it hinder you at all? I know that you've mentioned working, you've been quite busy at work. So when you get the phone calls from the family and the nervousness sets in, like what exactly happens?
I feel like it kind of alters my work, you know, because I'm so focused on what I'm doing or whatnot. And of course, after the phone calls, it's kind of like a shift in energy in a sense to where, like, you know, I'm so focused on that in that conversation and it lingers, you know, so it's just like you can't focus on anything else other than that.
Right. Okay. Okay. So a loss of focus, and you said there's a shift of energy. So what exactly does that shift of energy feel like? Can you describe that shift?
It's very tense. It really hurts in my back. because of intenseness and thinking about it stuff and getting upset. So yeah.
Okay. All right. May I ask, now that you're talking about it, do you feel any tenseness in your back now?
No.
No? Okay. Okay, so talking about it doesn't really cause any nervousness or tenseness,
No,
just when it happens.
Yeah, it's more of like a within the moment situation.
Okay, yeah, within the moment. Okay. All right. And since you get the nervousness and the shift of energy, it feels tense for you and you can feel it in your back. Is there any exercises or any kind of like therapeutic meditations that you do that can kind of melt it away a little bit?
I feel like the only thing that can really help me if I just kind of like just lay down and kind of like mellow out a little bit. Watching TV kind of help a little bit as well too. Maybe if I just kind of like sit outside for a few moments and kind of just somewhere quiet where I can just calm down my inner thoughts. I feel like that helps a bit within my situation.
So that's good. That's good. Definitely taking your mind off of it can be very helpful when it comes to dealing with tenseness and dealing with things that go on in our minds that resonates physically in our bodies.
Right.
So now with leading into work a little bit, is there anything at work that kind of gets you anxious or frustrated that may like you said with your family cause a little bit of nervousness or?
I would say it's just kind of employees that kind of that are ill trained in a way. Of course, upper management is supposed to help them get trained, but if they're working with me, they're supposed to be already ready to go and equipped. And of course, the other thing is if people just aren't doing their jobs, just blatantly, just sitting there. It could be many things done, but they just decide to sit there and just maybe sit on their phone or talk, just sit around, just being lazy. So that kind of like those two kind of upset me.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned like the employees being ill-equipped, not being able to fully do the job that they're there for. So can you describe to me or tell me a little bit about what you do to help them be more equipped, or what would you do in that situation?
I would say I would kind of have to retrain them, which is kind of frustrating because you kind of telling them or reiterating what happens, and then you have situations to where they don't know what you're talking about, or they don't fulfill the task that you asked them to do, because you trained them and then they're just like, what happened? Or they're just in a sense of being lost. So you have to keep reiterating again and again, what goes on. And then of course, if something does go wrong, then it falls back to me because my manager will have to hear about it and then it trickles down to me.
Right. Okay. And so how does that make you feel when the other employees don't do what they need to do and then it falls back on you? How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel very angry because I shouldn't, as grown people, have to tell you what to do. But you have those situations. So it's just like you don't want to be that person. But then at the end of the day, I get really tense and then I have to be that person,
Okay. So does that anger resonate anywhere physically for you? The same way how you say the shift of energy makes you feel tense with your family and it gets to your back. Does that anger resonate physically anywhere for you?
I would say it hurts my back as well too.
Okay, so the same back issue.
Yeah.
Okay. And since you started having these back issues with the tenseness, have you seen like a physical doctor for it or?
No. I usually 9 times out of 10 take maybe like a Tylenol, kind of lay there, it goes away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how often do you take Tylenol?
Not that often.
Not often.
Not for me to like take it on a daily basis,
Okay.
but if I really need it,
okay,
that's when I'll take it.
Okay. And so, how often do you say you really need it throughout the week?
I would say maybe. I would say maybe once or every twice a week.
Once or twice a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's really bad, but if not, maybe every couple weeks or
Okay.
so yeah.
Okay. So not like a not like
Not like a heavy
a
dosage
heavy
of it.
dosage of it
Yeah.
a week. Okay.
Uh,
All right. Okay. And so with work and family, they look like they kind of parallel each other with the frustrations and the anxiety.
mhm,
You know, you have the constant phone calls with the family, and then the belittling with your cousins, and then the sort of drama with your brother. And
mhm,
then when you go to work, it's a little bit, of tension there with the employees not knowing what to do, or you having to retrain them or anything like that, and that
mhm,
makes you pretty angry.
mhm.
Mhm. So have you had any other emotions that tend to come up when you're at work, or when you're with family, besides like the anxiety or the frustration or the anger?
No, that's pretty much like the top emotions that I have.
Mhm.
You know, if nobody really calls me, then I'm pretty much calm.
Mhm.
Very mellow.
Mhm.
You know, so it's kind of like pretty straightforward. You what it needs to do, and just kind of like chill.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that was good information to kind of go off of. I get a better sense of like what your pretty much day to day is with family and with work. I do want to leave you with a little bit of homework. I know that you
Mhm.
said that sometimes when you get to that place where you feel tense or you feel upset or angry, either with family or work, you come home and you kind of unwind by just watching TV or just laying there and thinking of like mellow thoughts, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, what I want you to do as far as like a homework is to try doing like certain meditations. So, there's actually an app. It's called the meditation app. You know, it deals with like mindfulness and things like that. It does breathing techniques. You know, it kind of helps you unwind, and it helps release the tension that you tend to have in your back when you get frustrated, things like that. So,
Mhm.
I would like for you to look into that and see if it helps you out for the time being until we meet again for our next session. Okay. All right.
I can do that.
Also, I do want to know like where you are now. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I know the last time we had a session, you said you were about a 6 or a 7. So I want to know now, where are you? Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you're fine, nothing is wrong, and 10 being like you're just losing it.
Mhm. I would say it's more of a 5. Give me between a 5 and a 6.
Okay, so a little bit less than last time.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like our sessions are helping with that a little bit, being able to talk about it?
Yeah. I feel like I get to relieve quite a bit
Mm,
with these, so they're slowly helping.
okay. All right. Well, I'm glad it's helping you. If not a lot, then a little. You know, a little always goes a long way. And so, again, just look into the mindfulness app and see how the meditation works for you to release the tenseness that you get in your back.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it at home. You know, if you have break time at work, you can do it on your break time. So, definitely want you to look into that, okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, Christina, I want to thank you for coming in. Had a really good session today. I still want to keep it on the basis that we have. So about like once a month will be good. Do you
Okay.
think that's good?
Yes.
All right. Well, again, I want to thank you for coming in, and you have a good day, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome.